back to Rachel's Eats. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 super fruity galettes, perfect for summer. So summer is almost over and I want to make use of all those really nice, fresh and vibrant fruit we have available. So I want to be showing you how to make a cherry almond galette, a peach and blueberry galette, and a spiced apple galette. So these recipes are super simple and versatile. You can really use any fruits you have available. So for those of you that don't know, a galette is basically a pie, but it's not in a springform pan. It's just free form on a baking sheet. That's it. Essentially, a galette is a messier, rustic version of a pie, but it has a fancier name, so that way you can impress people more. Yeah.
Wow, can I talk a lot. So for the dough, we're gonna get started with some flour and some oat flour.
So I really like mixing oat flour into the regular flour for the dough because I kind of wanted the dough to have a little bit more texture and kind of like a little crunch. So all I did was I took some oats and I just blended it up until it became a nice fine powder. Of course, you don't need to use oat flour, you can just use all regular all-purpose flour.
And then a little bit of salt and some baking soda. And we're gonna give it a good mix. And then we're gonna add in just a little bit of butter. I'm kidding. It's gonna be a lot of cold butter and we're gonna squish it up with our hands to make sure that each piece of the crust gets a nice flaky bit of butter. Then we're gonna mix in some water until the consistency is similar to that of wet sand. And you don't wanna add too much of water because the dough will kind of lose its flakiness. So once it's firm, you're gonna add it to some cling wrap and smush it up into a ball, close it up, and let it rest in the fridge until ready to use.
So a few years back, my family went cherry picking and we came home with a ginormous load of fresh cherries, which are my favorite fruit when they're in season. So the first thing that came to mind was to make a cherry pie, and it was super flavorful, a little bit lemony from the lemon zest, and an amazing crust. And whenever I make desserts, I always put less sugar, less butter, and less flour to make it healthier. So I thought I'd turn that pie into a galette and it came out really good.
So I'm mixing together some brown sugar, lemon juice, vanilla extract, lemon zest, almond extract, and some cornstarch.
What I noticed when I was making the cherry galette was that the cherries had a lot more liquid than the peaches and the blueberries and the apples. So what I did is I doubled the amount of cornstarch. So whenever you're using a more juicier fruit, make sure to put in a little bit more cornstarch to kind of make the liquid a little bit more thicker.
Then add in some salt, give that a good mix. And then add in our cherries. Make sure to get in all that juice and also our sliced almonds. Then give it a mix and put it in the fridge until ready to use.
So the next one we're making is a peach and blueberry galette. The tartness from the blueberry and the sweetness from the peach with all those flavors of cinnamon and ginger. Oh yeah, so good.
So in a big bowl, we're gonna add in some vanilla extract, some brown sugar, a little bit of ginger for some spice, and then some other spices, some cornstarch, lemon juice, and a crack of salt. And make sure everything is well combined. Then we're going to add in the peaches and the blueberries and give it a good mix and store it in the fridge until ready to use.
Okay, so now for the apple galette. I know spiced apple pie desserts are kind of like a fall thing, but they're my all-time favorite pie because whenever we were little, we would always go to Denny's. My family would always go to Denny's and get the apple crisp. And apples are pretty much in season all year round, so if you're craving something fall-like, you can make this during the summer.
I mean, I am all down for having pumpkin spice lattes and all things fall during the summer. So same method as the other ones. In a big bowl, I'm just going to combine some ginger, brown sugar, some of the other spices, some lemon juice, vanilla extract, a crushed cardamom pod, some cornstarch, and salt, and give that a good mix. Then we're just going to add in our pecans and our apple slices. And if you want all the measurements, you can find that at my blog, and the recipe will be linked in the description box. So once your dough is nice and chilled, I'm just going to flour my work surface and transfer the dough there. And then I'm going to split it into thirds. So once your rolling pin is nice and floured, we're going to roll out the dough into a 1/4 inch thickness. Just patch up any holes that you see, and remember, the messier the better, so it's okay if your crust is a little wonky on the edges. And just to ensure that we don't get any soggy bottoms, I'm going to flour the bottom of the pie crust and then pile in our fruits. And I should have poured in the juice after I folded up the edges just to make sure nothing spilled out. But once we get folding, you want to make sure that the edges are loosely wrapped over the center, but still well packed in on the sides.
A quick tip when you're wrapping the pie, the messier the better. Because honestly, when you're taking photos and the edges are crinkly and messy and juices are falling out, that makes like the best photo in the world.
I could probably eat this filling all by itself. This is probably my favorite one because it tastes just like fall, if you could taste fall. So then I'm going to carefully transfer my galettes onto my baking sheet using a bench scraper. And since we are making a dessert, I'm just going to dot off each galette with some butter to make sure all those juices get running and nice and rich. And then for the egg wash, I'm just going to combine an egg with 2 tablespoons of milk, beat that up, and then you just want to brush that over the exposed dough. And then up to the oven they go. Oh my god, that was totally worth the wait.
So what better thing to do than to douse this galette with a bunch of powdered sugar and top it with a big spoonful of ice cream. So those are the 3 recipes for the galettes. If you have any other flavor combinations or fruits that you would put in, make sure to comment that down below. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe and share this video to any friends and family that you think would love it. And I will see you next week. Bye! We're gonna know. Ava! Okay, stay there, right behind my head so nobody can see you. Ava! Get out of the frame!
I'm looking for avocado.
Because I want... Ava!
What?
Okay, get your stuff and go. Just, okay, stay behind... No, stay behind my head.
I need to get my...
What is that sound?
It's like hard.
Be quieter! Ava! Whoa! Basically in a... So fancy word. So you can impress people with that. Yeah.
It has a fancy name.
Oh yeah. So that way you can impress people better? Yeah.
You can impress people more.
Ah!